Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a Q&A about the Royal Academy of Dance. So as some of you guys may already know, last summer, so 2018, I took my intermediate ballet exam. So because I had the opportunity to do that, and I know that some adult ballet dancers haven't had the opportunity to study RAD or to take RAD exams, I thought I could do a Q&A about it and answer all the questions that you guys have. So before we get into the questions, I thought I would just do a really quick overview of what the RAD is. So RAD obviously stands for Royal Academy of Dance. So there are lots of students in the UK and actually all over the world who can study Royal Academy of Dance exams. So for each of those exams there is a specific syllabus, and you have to learn that syllabus and then you can take the exam. And so within the syllabi of Royal Academy of Dance, you could also say that there is a technique. So I feel like Royal Academy of Dance can also refer to a technique, as well as an examination board, as well as different syllabi. And when it comes to the exams, you have like the grade exams, which go from grade 1 to grade 8. And those exams, as well as ballet, also include character. And then you have the vocational exams, and those exams are just classical ballet. And the intermediate exam that I did last summer is one of the vocational exams. And then after the intermediate exam would come Advanced Foundation, and then Advanced 1, and then Advanced 2, and there are more exams after that. I'm going to put lots of links in the description of this video, so if you would like more information about something specific that I'm talking about, you will probably find it in a link that I've listed in the description, so make sure you check those out. So let's get into the first question. What is the maximum age to apply? And for the vocational exams, which is the one that I did, I don't think there is a maximum age limit. So as long as you're dancing at the standard that is needed to do the exam, then there is no age limit as far as I'm aware. I'm not sure about for the graded exams. That might also be the same, but I think it's much less common for adult dancers to do the graded exams as for the vocational exams, although I do believe that you can do both. Okay, next question. Were there any required parts that you felt especially difficult as an adult? I don't think any parts are more difficult because of being an adult. I personally felt that the hardest part of the exam was the Free-on-Chain, which is the part of the exam where the examiner will just say the movements and then you have to do the dance in a sequence. So you never get to see it, you don't get to rehearse it. The examiner will just tell you on the day, do this movement and then followed by this movement and this movement, and then you just have to perform it. So that was the bit that I was most nervous about in the exam, I guess. Perhaps for some adult female dancers, point might be a little bit challenging, just because I feel like sometimes as an adult getting onto point can be a little bit more challenging, although not necessarily. But I love the point work in my exam, so I guess it really just depends on the person more than on the age. So the next question, what if anything was different about taking the exam as an adult? And the answer is absolutely nothing. It's exactly the same. I did the exam with teenagers. The exam was exactly the same for me as it was for them. The examiner treated me exactly the same way as she treated the rest of them. Also in my classes, I was in classes with teenagers, so nothing. There is zero difference from my experience anyway. So the next question is, who showed you which variation to do? So depending on which exam it is, you will have a choice of variations. So usually your teacher will teach you both at the beginning, and then whichever one either suits you better or whichever one you prefer, then that's the one that you will carry on rehearsing. That's how they did it in my dance school. In other dance schools you might have to do both of them until up until the exam, and then I don't know, maybe decide then, but usually you will learn them both and then decide after you've learned them both which one you would prefer to do for the exam, and then you'll rehearse that one more. But for the rest of the syllabus, you just have to do exactly the syllabus. There aren't any other choices. I think the only other choice that you might get is in some exams when you get to advanced level, you might be able to choose the side that you do. So for example, I think in Advanced 1, you can choose the side that you want to do your fouettes. So obviously if you turn better to the left, you can choose the left, and if you turn better to the right, you can choose the right. But I think in the exams that come before Advanced 1, usually the examiner will choose which side you're going to do the pirouette exercise on, or the diagonal from the corner, and usually they'll just tell you in the exam, so you always rehearse both sides. So the next question is, how long did it take you from starting to learn the syllabus to taking the exam? So I started at that ballet school in September, I think at the beginning, middle of September. But at that point I was just doing advanced foundation classes. And then I think it was around November when we actually discovered that I wasn't going to be able to take the advanced foundation until I'd done the intermediate exam. That's just an RAD thing. Sometimes to be able to do like the in-between levels, you have to get the main levels, and intermediate's one that you have to pass that exam before you can then move on and do the other ones. And I think one of the reasons for that is that the intermediate exam is like a really important kind of marker. And that's because once you pass the intermediate exam, you can then train to become an RAD teacher. So that is the level that they require of all of their teachers to have passed the intermediate exam. And so I think they just across the board, they just require people to have done the intermediate exam before they then go on to either do the teacher training or to carry on doing grades that are above intermediate, so advanced foundation, for example. So I started doing the intermediate in November, I think. I started learning at the beginning of November, and then I took my exam, I think it was at the beginning of July. It was in July anyway. So I learned the syllabus in 8 months. I was also doing some advanced foundation classes at the same time as my intermediate classes. So I was dancing like more hours a week than would be necessary for the intermediate exam. And I think that my level was like a little bit above that exam level. So I think that was one of the reasons why I was able to do it in, like 8-9 months. Because really it was just a case of learning the syllabus. I didn't actually have to like get my technique up to that standard. I think it was more or less already there, which is probably one of the reasons why I got a distinction in that exam. I feel like if I'd have done the advanced foundation, I might not have got a distinction, because that was like kind of pushing my technique, especially in the point exercises. So yeah, I think that's why I was able to learn the syllabus and then to do my exam and to get a good mark in it, was because I was already at quite a good level. And it was just a case of learning the syllabus and also making sure that I knew all of the vocabulary specific to the Royal Academy of Dance. A lot of it is the same, just in classical ballet, kind of global ballet vocabulary, but some of the things are like specific to the Royal Academy of Dance. So I had to make sure that I knew those things for the free enchaînement, which is the part of the exam where the examiner just tells you the movements and then you perform them. So the next question is, did you have to take separate classes to study for the exam, and how long did you train for? So as I said, it was 9 months. And yes, I would recommend anyone who wants to do Royal Academy of Dance exams to go to a qualified RAD teacher if you want to get a good mark in your exam, because learning it from videos, I don't think it's going to be enough. And obviously learning from videos, you're not learning the free enchaînements. And also I just feel like some of the things that they're looking for and some of the things that you will get corrected will only be able to be kind of brought out by a Royal Academy of Dance teacher. So if you want to do a Royal Academy of Dance exam, I cannot recommend highly enough finding an RAD teacher and taking classes to learn the syllabus with an RAD teacher. Okay, someone asked, at which level of ballet training is it possible to pass RAD intermediate? So obviously the name suggests that it's like an intermediate level, but sometimes I feel like what adult ballet classes call like beginner and intermediate, etc., is not the actual same as what like the Royal Academy of Dance, how they would define like beginner, intermediate, advanced. I feel like with the Royal Academy of Dance, it's like a bit of a higher standard. So for example, if you go to an adult ballet class which is called intermediate, I mean, it completely depends where you dance, in what country, what kind of dance studio it is, but the chances are that that might not be the same, like as higher level as the RAD intermediate. It might be more similar to the intermediate foundation exam, which is the one before the intermediate exam. And I think in terms of the graded exams, as I was saying before, there's like 1 to 8. I believe it's somewhere around like grade 5 or 6. I'm not sure about that. So if anyone does the grades and also the vocational exams, please leave it in the comments to what is like the equivalent level, because I'm not 100% sure of that, but I feel like it's around grade 5 or 6. Okay, the next question is, would you recommend it to adults, and what is the appropriate starting point? I think it completely depends on your goals as an adult dancer. I think for some people it wouldn't be the right choice. I mean, unless you want to do an exam, why would you kind of put yourself through that, if that makes sense? But if you are someone who works well kind of under pressure and who enjoys like having very specific goals and targets, I do think that taking exams is like a great way to push yourself and to challenge yourself, but it very much depends on the individual. Like, I would definitely not blanket statement say like people should or shouldn't do RAD exams. It's a very personal choice, I think. But I would say that if people do want to do a ballet exam as an adult, then I do think that the RAD vocational exams are really, really good ones because they're very thorough. I absolutely love the syllabus, actually both of them, both intermediate and advanced foundation. And it really forces you to have like a deep understanding of ballet. So as I was saying before with the free on, shame on, you can't be, you know, one of those dancers who can go into class and do the class and whatever, but if you ask them what's this move called, or could they like dictate an exercise, they wouldn't be able to do it. And also there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, you can be any kind of adult dancer that you want and you can put your focus wherever you want. But if you're someone who likes to know the vocabulary, who likes to have like a kind of more in-depth knowledge of, I guess, like the technique and things like that, then it could be a really good option. But again, it's something that's very personal to each dancer. And what would be the appropriate starting point? I definitely wouldn't look into doing RAD exams if it's like your first year dancing ballet as an adult, because there would be like quite a jump, I think. But if you've been dancing ballet for a few years, going to regular classes, I'd say probably at least 2 a week, and you are interested, then definitely consider it. And I guess you can always like go to a trial class, see how you feel, see how the level is. Okay, next question. Did you have private lessons to take the exam? No, I didn't. I was in a class, as I said before, I think with, I think they were like 16-year-olds, and I was the only adult in that class. I think some people on Instagram had the idea that I'd managed to find like an adult ballet class which prepared the RAD exams, but no, I don't think those are that common, although I do know that they exist because I think like some of the people who I connect with on Instagram have actually found those. But in my experience, most dance schools that offer RAD classes are going to be for like younger students. So it's just asking them, listen, would you be happy to have an adult in your class? I really want to take the exam, and then hopefully they'll be open to letting adults in. Because as I said, there's no maximum to taking the exam, but another thing is just making sure that the dance school feels comfortable with having adults in the class as well. Okay, was it difficult finding RAD classes and getting the exam for adults? So as I said before, I was in the class with like younger students, and my exam was also younger students. I have actually no idea if they do RAD exams specifically for adults. I feel like they don't. I think if you want to do the exams, I mean, if you're in an adult academy doing RAD things, then you might be in with just like the people in your class. But for example, for me, I didn't end up being able to take the exam with the people from my class. So I was just in with some other people, and they were all younger than me. Again, they were around like 15, 16 years old, I think. So I don't think there are adult specific exams. There's just the general exams, and then you can do them if you're an adult. And were the classes easy to find? There is usually like one Royal Academy of Dance school, I feel like, in the UK, in most towns and cities. Obviously I couldn't promise that, and I don't know for sure, but I was in a town, and there was just one school that did Royal Academy of Dance there, so that was the school that I went to. But yeah, I'd say probably in smaller towns and villages you might not find Royal Academy of Dance, but in a nearby city hopefully you would be able to find a class. Okay, was it very different to ISTD? So ISTD is another examining board in the, I believe it's also in the UK for ballet, and also I think other dance styles as well as ballet. And I'm really sorry because I cannot answer that because I've never studied that. But as far as I know, I think that, yeah, they are quite similar, but I can't tell you anything about that from personal experience, I'm afraid. Okay, would you like to do the other levels, Advanced Foundation, Advanced 1 and 2? So as I said, I actually learnt the whole of the Advanced Foundation syllabus. I just couldn't take that exam, so I had to do the intermediate first. And at the moment I have no plans to do those exams. It was really fun to learn the syllabus. But like right now I don't actually have any like necessity to take the exams. I don't need it for anything. I didn't need the intermediate either, but that was kind of the best ballet classes that were available in my area, and I also just thought there's no harm in having like an exam. It would be a good challenge, so that's kind of why I did it. But now at the moment I don't feel like I need to be doing any exams, so yeah, that's not in my plans, but I definitely wouldn't rule it out because I did really enjoy the experience. Obviously I'm also back living in Madrid as well, and I'm not going to an RAD school at the moment, so I'm not training in RAD. So if I wanted to do another exam, I would have to like change the place where I'm dancing and find another dance school, and all of that kind of. Okay, next question is, which were your most and least liked exercises? So in the intermediate exam, well, just in any exam and just in any ballet class in general, my least favourite exercises are always a petit allegro because I just struggle with them. I just struggle to move that fast. And that was definitely the case in the intermediate exam with Allegro 2. I mean, that was challenging for me. Someone else also asked specifically about the Allegro 2 exercise, so there you go, it was my least favourite exercise. Like, it's a pretty exercise to watch on someone who's good at petit Allegro, but on me it just was not pretty and it was really challenging. But obviously I did pass that exercise in the exam, so all good. But my favourite exercise was the port de bras, and I feel like port de bras is something that is not really given that much attention in general in ballet. It's not one of like people's favourite exercises or anything like that. I really enjoy port de bras, and this port de bras had the most beautiful music, and I just, like, whenever I danced it, I just felt like, I don't know, something like special inside your body, like almost like I was floating. I just loved like how the choreography went to the music was so beautiful. I'm more of an adage dancer, like port de bras, kind of slow waltz kind of dancer anyway, so I feel like that suits me better and I'm better at it. So I guess those like things just came together and I just felt like in heaven when I was doing that port de bras exercise. I absolutely loved it, and it's the first center exercise, so it was such a nice way to go like from the bar and then just like go into the center with that exercise. I absolutely loved it. And it was just before the pirouette exercise, so it was a good way for me to like kind of calm down a little bit before that. Okay, the next question is how to apply. So the way that I know that you can apply is by joining an RAD class, and then your teacher has to like apply for you. So the way that I think it works, especially for the vocational exams anyway, but I would imagine it would be the same for the graded exams, is that an officially registered Royal Academy of Dance teacher has to put you in for the exam. I think that's how it works. So once you're in a class and you have a teacher, then they will put you in for the exam, and then you pay, and then you're in, that's it, you do the exam. Okay, so the last question is, would I like to be a registered RAD teacher? No, is the short answer, and it's not that I wouldn't like to. In an ideal world with endless time and money, like, yeah, it would be great to do it, and I'm sure that I would learn so much, and I'm sure that I would enjoy it, but I just don't have time. It's, I believe, 2 years full-time training once you pass the intermediate exam, to then like study to become an RAD teacher. Again, that's just what I understand. So if you are a registered RAD teacher, please leave it in the comments. Let us know, what is the training process like, how long does it take, and all those kind of things, because as I said, like, I haven't done it, so I don't know, but that's what I think. I think it's 2 years full-time training to become an RAD teacher. And I think if you're going to do that, you kind of have to know that what you want to do long term is to teach in like a Royal Academy of Dance school or academy, and that's just not what I want to do. It's not my aim. I loved my RAD classes, I love like the Royal Academy of Dance in general, but I'm not going to be a full-time teacher. That's not what I want to do. You know, I really enjoy teaching like adult beginner classes, but they don't have to be like specifically one technique. Like I usually have a little bit of a mixture, because obviously at the conservatoire here I trained in what I call like a general European style, so there were like Russian influences, there were RAD influences as well, but my style and the way that I teach is not like one pure technique. And obviously if you're teaching Royal Academy of Dance classes, then it has to be like pure Royal Academy of Dance technique. And obviously you can't teach RAD classes without being an official RAD teacher. So also with everything else that I'm doing with the adult ballet community, creating the website, running my 2 YouTube channels and my Instagram accounts, and there's so much more that I want to do. Like I'm working on something really exciting for the community at the moment. So yeah, there just wouldn't be time to study to be a teacher, and I think it's a great thing to do if you know that you want to be like a full-time ballet teacher, but that's not what I want to do. So yeah, I just think that it would be an amazing learning experience, but it's not the right one for me. So that's it guys, I hope I didn't miss any of your questions. I'm really sorry if I did. I did try to go through all of them. Thank you so much to anyone who did leave me a question, and thank you also to everyone for watching. If you guys have another kind of topic that you would like me to do a Q&A on, whether that's like something very specific about ballet or about dance more in general, please leave it in the comments below, and then if there's like a really good topic, I can ask you guys on Instagram to send me questions, and then I can do another Q&A. So thank you again for watching guys, and I will see you in my next video.